Hi Taurus, welcome to your 2020 video with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't yet, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby and you have been with me throughout 2019 or even before, you know I absolutely love you and I'm truly grateful for all of your support that you've shown me up until now, and I truly hope that you love this video as much as I love you. Now, with that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, or if you want to get your personal, specific to you 2020 video for the year ahead, you can get it in a video format or you can get it in a written format. You can do so on the website address below. With that said, as always, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the year ahead has in store for you. What is happening for you in January of 2020. So you get a destiny card and a direction card for each month to see what's going on. So you get the Fool card. What a way to start the year. This is fantastic, right? The Fool card is new things, new places, new people, fresh dynamic energy that is there. It's the pure potential of all things that is there for shaping. The fact that you get this in January, it sets the tone for the year. Expect surprises, expect shocks, expect roller coaster moments, right? Both up and down. That's the beauty of life. And the Fool card always brings you things that you can't expect, that you can't anticipate. They give you this kind of energy. You know, sometimes it can be a really small moment. Sometimes it can be just a conversation that you have that ends up changing your outlook, your mind, or sets you on a completely different path altogether. I love the Fool card. It's one of my favorites. And believe it or not, did you know it's the most powerful because it can go anywhere and be anything. It is that pure potential to be shaped into whatever you so choose. So let's give it a direction. Let's see what this might relate to or pertain to. And remember, in 2020, we do have this big conjunction that is taking place in the sign of Capricorn. So in some way, shape or form, it's going to rewrite everything for all of us. So to give it some context, you get the Knight of Swords, right? So you are doing new things, new places. For some of you, this is spontaneous travel that happens right here, right out of the gate in the beginning of the year. For some of you Taurians, you are traveling this year in the month of January before you even go anywhere. Now, the Fool card does have a surprising energy to it. The Knight of Swords does have a surprising energy to it as well. It's a very Geminian card, right? And it does represent, sometimes it can represent speed, sometimes it can represent haste. This is going to be a very fast month for you. You know, usually January drags on, and by the time we get to the end of January, everybody's like, please shoot me now, right? Because it just seems to drag on. It's that month where you're just like, oh, I'm gonna die waiting for payday, and you know, all of that sort of energy. But it's going to be fast for you. January will move very quickly. For some of you, you'll be very surprised. You may be called away from home for work. For some of you, for others, this will be about a family matter that needs your urgent attention. But you will definitely be traveling. For some of you, it could be international. For others, it will probably just be a commute within the country, or possibly even just the town that you're in. You know, obviously it depends on your unique situation and whatever's happening with your chart. But what a fantastic way to start the year, right? And this could be as well, it could be a spontaneous opportunity that requires your immediate attention. You won't be able to sit on this, right? You won't be able to sit and deliberate about it like Taurus likes to. You guys like to take your time with things, right? You like to get it certain, get it set, and then you move on it. You might not have that luxury here in January. You might just have to go straight for it. And remember, the Fool card sets the tone of the energy for the year ahead. Your February, you've got the Lovers card, right? Beautiful. So it looks like you're making decisions, but in this deck, look at that. That's such a sensual card, right? For those of you that are partnered and in relationships, February looks like a really great month for you. It could see you out of your comfort zone, right? It could see you really kind of like, okay, we don't usually do things like this, or maybe we do things differently to this, right? Whatever it is, there is a new exploration. It's almost like you and your partner are choosing to do things in a different way. For those of you that are single, February could bring you love. February could, I mean, and it might even be for some of you that somebody that you connect with in your travels or on your travels in January, right? Very, very exciting, very exciting. Let's have a look at the direction. Let's give it some context. And for you in February, you get the Emperor, right? So for a lot of you, this is about finding out that so for those of you that are single and you meet somebody in February or you meet somebody in January and things transpire throughout the month of February, this could be you guys really, really taking it to the next level and feeling, you know, like, wow, this is the person for me. For those of you that are in established bonds, marriages, partnerships, this bodes very, very well, because it's about you guys recommitting to your relationship. It's almost like your bond becomes stronger, right? For a select few of you, now I do have to, because you guys know me, and I always tell you what comes up, even if it is challenging. For a select few of you, this could be you having a tryst with a boss, you know, with somebody that's in a position of authority. It could see you in a love triangle between you, your partner, and, you know, this is somebody that you either work with or somebody that is in a position of power. This is a very powerful person. It's really, really important, you know, make your own choices. I'm not here to judge you, and I think anybody that's ever had an actual reading with me, I've seen it all. There's never any judgment from me, so that's what I'm going to say to you from the offset. What I will say to you is you probably will have to make a choice sooner than you would like to, so keep that in mind. If you are in a love triangle, you find yourself in that kind of situation, just be mindful that it may very well be revealed before you would like it to be. So try to keep everything above board. But for those of you that are single, yeah, it looks like you're, you know, connecting with a very powerful person, or possibly even a boss figure. If it is a boss, again, just be careful. As the saying goes, don't pee where you eat. All right, so just keep that in mind. Let's have a look at your March. Whatever's going on though in February, it's a steamy time, right? So in March, you've got the Strength card. Now this is beautiful, because it sees you connecting to your heart space. It sees you connecting to your heart chakra and saying to yourself, right, you know what do I want? What is it that I actually want from life? What am I going to find by the way of fulfillment, right? And this is you going with your heart. You're basically saying, so whatever decision you're making in February, in March, you will be ready to go forward with it, and you'll say, you know what, I'm going to choose what my heart says. That might not be a popular opinion, but that's what I'm going with, because that's what feels right. The Strength card represents Leo, and therefore it represents your heart and your spine. This is about you having the courage, Taurus, to go for what it is that you truly want, to go after something that really feels right to you in your heart. Let's give it some context. All right, so you have the Judgment card, right? So this is about something coming full cycle. It could be that you are going down memory lane with a partner, you know. It could be that you're going down memory lane with somebody that used to be your partner. These 2 months look very, very love focused for me. There's definitely a lot going on in the heart space. Now, the thing with Judgment is it tends to bring something up to be laid to rest. Now, for those of you where this does kind of indicate an extramarital affair or whatever, I'm speaking directly to you guys now, just for you guys, or those of you that are in a partnership and, you know, there ends up being a third sort of party involved. In March, it looks like it all comes to light, right? You choose to go with your heart. Now, if that isn't the person that you are currently with, expect that person to do everything they can to win you over, to win your heart, so that you don't leave. All right, just understand that that is a possibility. Now, aside from all of that, What is really lovely about this pairing is it suggests you're going back to something. It could be in work, it could be a personal project, a personal business. It suggests you're taking a step backward towards something that you used to want to do. It's kind of like this thing is now back on the table. You've got a chance to pick something up. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago you said, oh, you know what, I'd love to start a cupcake business. March looks like a brilliant time for you to do that. Something that your heart, the Strength card, wants to do, that you've wanted to do for a long time. The Judgment card, things coming back from the past, that blast from the past. This is about something that you've wanted to do for a long time but haven't been able to. March sees you picking it up and saying, you know what, I don't care what it takes. I don't care if it makes me $1 million. I'm going to do this because it feels like something that I would really like to do. April. You've got the Judgment card, right? So lots of blasts from the past. 2020 is going to be that year for you that brings people back into the fold, people, situations, possibly for some of you even old jobs. You might hear from an old colleague, maybe even hear from an old boss, and they say to you, look, you know what, we've got this position come up, we'd really like you to be a part of it. You know, we'd really like to put you on, maybe not necessarily on stage, but maybe you being a figurehead for something. It does look like, though, the past is knocking on the door in a big way in March and April. So this is going into, you know, for those of you that celebrate at the end of April, we're going into birthday season for you. You've got the Four of Pentacles on the Judgment card. Whatever this opportunity is that's coming back to you in April, the chances for it to make you money, the chances for it to set you up financially is very high. This is a really good month, whatever it is that's being offered. And you'll know because it will be something from your past. Someone or something from your past will come back to you and say, wow, you know, this has come up and the only person that we could think of was you. It will be an old opportunity of sorts that comes up, and it offers you the Four of Pentacles. It offers stability, it offers security, things that Taurus loves to find. And this is a powerful pairing of cards. I mean, it really does bode very well for money. April's going to be a good month for finances for you guys, providing obviously you know, you keep your wits about you, and I say that to everybody, you know. All right, so May, birthday season proper. A happy birthday, a happy solar return for all of you. You get the Star card. This is where you get a glimpse into your future. Birthday season is going to be fantastic for you guys. This sees you making a step forward. For some of you, this could be about travel. Very likely it's going to be about travel to America, to the States. For a select few of you, it'll be about you going to Canada. Or those kind of northern regions. There's some kind of opportunity or business that may beckon there. Now, the Star card does represent the sign of Aquarius, but it also represents the group, the tribe, people that are on your wavelength, and so therefore it represents the future. May is a good month for you to draw connections. It's a great month for you to reach out to people. It's a fantastic month for you when it comes to internet-based stuff. Maybe starting a YouTube channel like this. Maybe working on radio, you know, anything of that nature. Not necessarily so much TV. You know, it could be that you're starting a podcast. Anything of that nature in May around birthday time is really, really favored for you. It's about you building or finding the community that you're supposed to be a part of now. So May looks absolutely phenomenal for that. All right, let's have a look. I mean, your first quarter of the year is basically all about travel, love, and money. All right, so it's beautiful. All right, so your Two of Pentacles, right? So again, you know, your Two of Pentacles sees you making really good decisions. It sees you having to make decisions about who you align yourself with, about the steps going forward. I will say this to you, whatever decisions you're making, whatever connections you're forming here in May, excuse me, whatever decisions and connections you're forming here in May, they have long-reaching. You know, this is stuff that you'll be working on, people that you'll be working with for some time to come, certainly at least the next 2 years. So this is a time for you to, although everything looks great, it is a time for you to be selective about the connections that you forge. It is a time for you to be really resolute about what the goal is. What is the aim? Where is it that you're going with this? You know, whatever it may be. But yeah, definitely some great people, some good tribe showing up here in May. It may be that you already know these people. I mean, you've got the Judgment card twice in a row in previous months. So for some of you, like I said, this opportunity is coming back to, well, it's coming to you and it's a new opportunity, but it's coming from places or people that you've already connected with. All right. Your June, you've got the Hanged Man, right? So this card represents Pisces, but it also represents stasis. June is a month for you to take it easy. It's a time for you to hang back. It's not a time for you to make hard, fast, rash decisions, okay? June is a month of reassessment, reevaluation. Now, it's interesting because this comes right after birthday month, which is, you know, great. It's fun, it's vibrant. You know, forging connections. And then the Hanged Man, it's kind of like that laying low now. Right, you're having this energy where it's like, right, okay, now that we've got everything in place, now is when we need to start to build. This is where we start to lay the foundations, and in order to do so, you have to reassess, you have to reevaluate. For some of you, this is about waiting, right? This is about having patience, and if there's one thing I can definitely say Taurus has in spades, it's patience. Your jumping card is the King of Swords. King of Swords is very much a legal card. Now this does fall right underneath that February, right? And it's interesting because this year, I don't think it's going to be there. No. Yeah, it's interesting because in June, it really does look to me like this is where you're having, it looks like where something's coming full cycle. So your King of Swords would be an air sign male. This would be an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is, you know, and it's funny because this happens in Gemini season, right? So this will see you really looking at the facts. It will see you, you know, drawing together data, maybe doing research, maybe getting facts and figures in check for sure. For some of you, because it does fall with the Hanged Man and the King of Swords, for some of you, this is where your expertise starts to get out there. This could be where you're seeing TV, radio, all that sort of stuff. So May is probably going to be a podcast, radio, you know, all of that sort of stuff, maybe giving talks and speeches, you know, really solidifying and building those connections in that tribe. Whereas June will be more like television. You know, you could find yourself being featured in something and it could come by complete surprise. Remember, you had the Fool card to set the tone for this. So a lot of the stuff that shapes up for you this year, you could be watching this video now and be like, you know what, Raf, I'm not really sure. And then by the time we get to these, you know, these months of 2020, you're like, holy crap, you know what, the guy knows his stuff. Right? Just to blow my own trumpet, I don't mean it like that, but you kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. You have Uranus in your sign. Okay, so whether you're a sun, moon, rising Taurus, is you know, you have these big shocking changes coming through. The Tower card and the Fool card are ruled by Uranus. They both have that kind of shocking, surprising, changeable energy. Now, yeah, your King of Swords. So this could be about TV. It could be you being featured for stuff for a select few of you. And I have to, again, you guys know me by now. I call it how I see it. For some of you, this could be where your relationship ends. This could be where a marriage does go its separate ways. This could be where something comes to an end, something comes to a close. For some of you, this could be about your professional life. There could be somewhere that you know, your job could come to an end. And you could say, right, I'm leaving that behind for something else. For others of you, this could literally spell out a possible divorce. Because it comes through the guise of the Hanged Man, it probably is going to be the right decision. It probably is going to be what feels right to you in your spirit, right? And by doing so, you might feel this sense of release and relief, you know, not just for yourself, but for the other person as well, to say, you know what, we did what we could, we tried, but it just wasn't meant to be. And sometimes, you know, it's hard to have that experience, but sometimes it's what's necessary. And when we see that in hindsight, we're like, damn, you know what? Yeah, I feel like I've set that person free, and they can go on to achieve and have all of the stuff that they deserve, and so can I. You know, I feel like if there is a parting of ways when it comes to a relationship, it will actually be very amicable. I don't see any hate or malice coming through here. You know, so that's the other side of June. July, you have the Emperor, right? So this again is, I mean, the Emperor's come up twice for you. Judgment has come up twice for you. Really, really interesting, right? So, but your Emperor card here in July, this is all about you committing to doing things differently. This is about new lease on life. It's about fresh energy. It's about you chasing your desires and your dreams. It's about you being very proactive. It's about you being seen as an authority in your chosen field, whatever that may be. You know, if you work in, you know, whatever you do for work, July sees you elevating your status. It sees you coming into your own after being featured in the spotlight in some way, shape or form. And the reason I say television is because the Hanged Man represents Neptune, right? It's got that Neptune Pisces energy. And so therefore, because Neptune rules television, all right, so that's where I got that from, and plus there's a few other things here that kind of spoke to me in that way. So your Emperor card sees you rising through the ranks. It sees you reaching that position of authority, which is brilliant. All right, let's give it some context. The Queen of Pentacles. So in July, you're looking out for a Queen of Pentacles. So this could be you, because after all, you're Taurus, right? This could be an earth sign woman, a Taurus, a Capricorn or a Virgo. The fact that this falls on top of the Emperor, this is about you guys elevating in status. It's about you being seen as an authority. For some of you, it could be you finally becoming the institution or the household name, excuse me, that you want to, right? Really, really powerful stuff. And it's actually a great pattern. Now, because we talked about collaborations, I do feel like this is a person that you're looking out for, right? So there is going to be an earth sign woman that you connect with in some way, shape or form. July is going to be a golden month for the both of you, right? So whatever collaboration or work you have going on in that time, it's a blessed time. It's kind of like where something is actually birthed out into the world and it becomes what you hoped it would. August, you've got the Devil card, right? So this is a time for you to look at what you're too attached to. If you're too attached to a specific outcome, it kind of, and especially after this, right? Because whatever you're launching or doing in July, it's, you know, it's got all the best chances of success. Don't strangle it, you know, with the Devil card. I guess what I mean is, you know, when you've got a plant, you can overwater it, especially in the early days of it, you know. Tend to it for sure, but don't smother it. You know, it's like when you're lighting a barbecue. You don't just kind of, you know, once you've got a little flame going, you don't just pile everything on top of that little flame because it will just go straight out. You know, you wait for it to build, you wait for it to get underneath itself, so to speak. This Devil card could see you really looking at yourself. I mean, as well, if you look at the figure there, he's wearing the jester, right? He's wearing the fool's hat. And that's a really, really interesting but very powerful motif. And it kind of says, don't stifle yourself and don't limit yourself in August. Don't be so attached to a specific outcome that you block all of the other potential outcomes. All right. So let's give it some context, because the other thing as well with the Devil cards, it's about what you're addicted to. It's about what you can't sort of let go. The Chariot card, so you know, it's not a bad thing to be addicted to success. It is when you will do anything to win, right? It is when you become that sort of megalomaniac person that it's like, well, I don't what the consequences are, as long as I come out on top, as long as I win, as long as I get what I want. It's going to caution you against, in fact these cards do caution you against that. Now the Chariot card is a card of victory and success. It's a card of, you know, whatever you want to see from whatever it is that you create, it's all there. All of the potential is there. The Devil card is basically saying don't limit it and don't limit yourself, right? If, as an example, if you were growing, you know, if you're growing a plant and you said, right, you can only grow towards the southwest and it's got to be at this angle. if you stifle it because it can't go that way, or the root system goes in the opposite direction, you're not going to be helping it, right? So take away the barriers, take away your idea of how something should or has to be, and let it become what it's supposed to organically, right? So your September, you got the Tree of Life. I love this card. It's an extra card in this deck, so there's like 23 cards in this deck, and I love it. I love it. And this card is where we see divine intervention. It's the process of something being created or happening in our lives that we don't have any control over. This is where the universe itself steps into your life and says, it's my turn to steer. Right? And this is the whole thing. When we co-create our destinies. If you've been with me for long enough, you know that I truly believe that, and I say it again and again. The way to co-create your destiny is to sometimes know when to take your hands off the wheel and say, universe, it's your turn, right? You're obviously taking me down a certain path. You're giving me a specific experience. Now it's up to you to take me there and ultimately to show me why. This is when that shows up in your life. There is something being created or cultivated in your life now by the universe. Let it unfold. Let's see if we can gain a little peek at what that might be or how it might show up. Okay, and that seems to be your card. It's the Ace of Pentacles. This is going to be a fantastic month for money. This is going to be a great month for starting anything new. If you're starting a new job, if you are starting a new business, if you've already started a new business and it's now starting to grow, September, you could see some really lovely rewards or abundances from this straight away, right? My only thing that I will say to you is, because you are letting the universe do the steering, and it is a new beginning, right? This is a new way of doing things, a new era of money, of business, of finance in some way, shape or form for you. You need to let it unfold naturally. That's the lesson that you're learning here in August, right? But September looks beautiful. It's a great month for finances. The universe is trying to bring you what you ask for. One of the things that you love most, money. All right, so let it happen. So October, you got the Sun card. Beautiful. Blessings abound. I mean, this is where you get to enjoy some of the fruits of of what's been created. This will probably be your biggest month for travel. It's going to be October, January, possibly May. But those are going to be your big travel months, is October and January. These are the times of the year where you're really seeing places at a distance to you. The Sun card is beautiful because it brings light, hope, optimism, joy. It brings blessings. It can bring abundance. I mean, you've got the Sun card right next to the Ace of Pentacles. September and October are going to be good money months for you, so look out for that. Let's give it some context. You've got the Nine of Wands, right? So Nine of Wands is about speaking up, right? And sometimes it can be the bruised and battered soldier, if you see him there. What I always say about this card is you're very nearly there, right? You're very nearly at the point where you're unburdened from something challenging or something difficult. Now, for those of you that have children, this is basically, especially those of you that have got children who are about to become teenagers or are already teenagers, this is a time for you to let them speak. They are going to divulge things for you. We've seen this happen so far this year, but you will have this happen again in 2020 and probably in a big way in October. Now, why do I say this? Well, you've got Uranus in your sign. Uranus represents young people. It's a youthful energy. For those of you that don't have children, this could be you addressing some of your personal childhood stuff and doing it in a way that is easy and possibly even fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people say, like, oh, how can your past be how can your past trauma be fun to get rid of? It doesn't have to be the heavy slog. It really doesn't. And I think in October you're realizing that. But yeah, for those of you that do have children, especially those that are children becoming young adults or kids that are teenagers, you could find that there's a lot of sharing that happens in October, and you could be really grateful for that. So keep that in mind. All right, and then November, you have the Hermit card. So November is going to be a month of withdrawal. November's going to be a month where you're kind of going within yourself and, you know, reassessing the year and looking at where you've been, but it will also be where you are getting a bit more spiritual. November's going to be a month where you start to close down, not just for the year, but in order to cultivate the wisdom. This is about you drawing on the whole year that you've had and saying, right, okay, and it's almost like you're projecting into the future. So there's a part of you that's looking at the year that you've had so far and saying, right, okay, if this year is a prelude or sort of like a premonition of what's to come over the next 10, what have I learned? What is it that I know now that I kind of didn't before, hadn't factored in before? You know, this is asking you to make yourself a vessel for your intuition to speak. So to clarify on that, let's give it some direction. You've got the Death card, right? So this is you looking at what needs to end. For a select few of you, I do have to say this, I'm sorry to say, this could be where you're saying goodbye to an elderly loved one. You've got the Hermit, very often represents older people. Then you've got the Death card, rarely spells out physical death, but I do feel, especially given that this is the time of the ancestors, don't forget the end of October into November is sort of Halloween time, All Souls. It does feel like you may be saying goodbye to an elderly family member or maybe an elderly friend. Somebody is kind of closing out in your life this month, and it's going to be more of kind of like an observation. I don't feel like it's, you know, I don't feel like it's going to be sort of like, oh, you know, yeah, obviously it's horrible to say goodbye to anyone, but I feel like this is going to be more of a celebration of life, and it's going to help you live your life more fully, more than anything else. And then finally, December. You got the Justice card, right? So December looks like you're making a big decision. This looks like you, for some of you, you might be signing a contract. For others, you might be deciding to move on a specific path in permanence, you know, doing something for good. It looks like, because Justice does, it always sees you making a decision, but it sees you signing on the dotted line for something. Very often it is a contract of sorts. You know, it can be anything from a contract of marriage to a contract of buying a new house or a car, whatever. Let's give it some context. It comes with the King of Pentacles, right? Achievement, accomplishment, but who is the King of Pentacles? He is an earth sign male, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. For those male Taurians among you that are watching this, December looks like a really great month. For those of you that are single, it looks like you are really finding somebody special. I mean, you know, it could be happening here as well for a select few of you. But yeah, for the male Taurians, December looks like a really great time because you're choosing to put yourself first, which is really great. You know, there's nothing wrong with that at all. The other thing is as well, because it is achievement and accomplishment, December could see you signing a contract of some sort that it's almost like you get that big fish. You could be getting that, you know, that thing that you always hoped to get. A lot of your desires can be met in December in 2020, and you know this goes for you female Taurians as well. It's not specifically limited to the males, it's just there's some messages that are coming through for them in specific. Now, for those of you that are looking out for an earth sign male, December is when this person will likely show up and they help you achieve a long-standing goal of some kind. So that is your year. I truly hope this resonates with you. Check in on it throughout the year. You know, some people do it month by month. Some people do it quarter by quarter. Some people do it every 4 months, you know, they do it in 3. Please drop comments. Feel free to let me know how this resonates with your year. You know, what it feels like for you, what it, you know, where it correlates, where it might not. Please, all feedback and any feedback is always welcomed as long as it is constructive. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic year and take care. And I wish you all the best for an amazing 2020. See you soon.